So you want to know how to find plays with the strat, right? So first of all, if you have not, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Please give us a like and help me grow. All right, I'm at 494 subscribers. I'd love to get to 1K. I think I'm going to do a giveaway at 1K. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So what is one of the first things we're going to do when we are setting up to find plays? First and foremost, we are going to set up our charts so that we know what we are looking for. We're going to go to Trading View and we're going to set up our indicators. You do not have to have volume here, although I always teach that volume is gas that makes a car go. So you like to see when there's volume, when there's big green bars, when there's little volume. You like to see those. So I like to keep that on my chart. You are going to need this daily lines indicator. This is going to give you the 20, the 50, and the 200 rolled all into one. Now I don't normally use these to trade. However, I do use these to scan. And y'all already know that I use the 200 for longer term to look at things on the larger views. So you're going to need those daily lines. You can color code them however you would like. Mine are red, green, and blue. You will need your regular Strat indicators, the Strat Teach V2, and your SSS 50 status. You can optionally use the 8 EMA because I use that for shorter term trading. And then the 100 EMA you're going to need for these scans. Okay, I'll show you a little bit later why you will need these, but this is what you're going to need. Also, last but not least, you're going to need the MACD indicator, and I'm going to show you how you can use this, but you're going to need this at the bottom of your chart. So you will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 indicators. So this will probably, you would need the pro account for this, or you can drum it down. You're gonna, to the very least, you need the MACD, the Strat, and the daily lines. Okay, for your 3, I believe you get for free. So once you've set that up, now we can go and look for charts look for plays because we have our charts already set up. So what we want to do is first we're going to go to RunStrat. So RunStrat will give you really great options that you can look at. You can look at things on the monthly, the daily, and the weekly. You can also sort these according to parameters that you may want. So for instance, this group, I looked specifically for reversals. And now we're doing this on Saturday, April 15th. So although the month has already started, I wanted to look and see what's reversed on the week. So here it shows me we have reversals down. PNC has a nice hammer on the week that I can look at. It shows me what it looks like on the day, the week, and the month. It shows me the ATR, so let me know if it's something that I want to look for. When I'm looking at our RunStrat, I like to look for things that have hammers, shooters, and or volume. This also has a PMG on the week, so I can go look at that and say, okay, PNC on the week, there's a PMG on the week. So I can look at that and say, okay, this is how I would target the PMG, and you can execute from there. You can start looking at the chart however you want to look at it. But oh, it's a PMG on the week, and it's a nice hammer on the day. So that's how you could look to find a play using RunStrat. And then of course, if you just want to look at regular Strat, you can filter by that, and it will give you the kind of week, the week that it played out in, inside, outside, for example, etc., etc. So say you have a specific setups that you like to look for, and so you want to do a watch list in TradingView. So you like to look for PMGs, you like to look for inside weeks, and you like hammers or shooters. So you can organize your watch list by sections. Click on these three dots and click add section. So we're going to say inside weeks, and then you can click on it, add another section, and we're going to say this is for hammers, and then another section that says this is for PMG. So we're going to add PNC here. Now PNC has a hammer and a PMG on the week, but we want to keep it under the PMG. So say we wanted to go back and look at Google. Google has a hammer double inside. So we would add Google. Whoop. And then you can just move that up to either hammer or inside, whichever one you wanted to look at that for. You have the hammer, or you can say pull it up here and say it's the inside week. And then let's see, we can add a few more. Let's say we were looking at AI. AI has a shooter, and let's say Roblox has a shooter, and then ON is inside. So we're going to add AI, Roblox, ON. Oh, we didn't do shooters. Let's add the shooter section. Shooter. So we know that AI and Roblox were shooters, and ON was another inside week. So we can just drag that up here, and there we go. So we have it organized now by setup. Let's see if we can find another hammer on the week. Monster. So let's just do that just so we can have it something in there. MNST. Alright, so now you have your watch list organized by setup. Inside shooters, hammers, PMG, whatever else you wanted to label list. You could say 4 hour, whatever. However you want to organize your watch list is great. So then you can go back through and look and find setups here for RunStrat. Next, you can go to Finviz.com, and this is how you're going to screen. Now keep in mind these are going to be daily plays. So if you're looking at these, you need to make sure you understand that these are on the daily time frame that it is scanning, and so you need to possibly make a separate wish list or a separate watch list for that. So once you come to Finviz and you click on screeners, you're going to click on all, and these are the parameters that I like to use to find decent moving stocks. So I'm going to change the price here to over $15. I'm going to change my ATR to over $1. I like it to actually move. I like gas, so I'm going to change my average volume to over 1 million. And then actually I'm going to change this to over 750K. Sometimes that could be the start of getting to 1 million. And of course I like to play options, so I'm going to make sure that this is optionable. Consequently, if you're doing this for commons, you don't necessarily need that. You can just leave this blank, but I am usually scanning for options. And then you can choose your candlestick here, and keep in mind it's giving you a candlestick for the daily time frame. So if I said I wanted to look for more hammers on the day, I can do that. And so now it's going to give me a total of 8 tickers. I like to change and sort it by volume so I can see what's something that's had a good amount of volume that may have printed a hammer or a shooter on the day. And so we see MU, so I can go and take a look at MU and see if I would like to put that on my daily watch list. So it's an inside day and it's a hammer, so yeah, I may want to add that. Let's add it. This is not a real watch list, you guys. I'm just showing you how this works. And then looking for an inverted hammer. Any shooters out here with good volume? Starbucks a little, but the volume is pretty meh. But we can still look at it. And also this, you may find something that you normally play on a regular basis that might show up on here. And again, this is like MU, it's a green shooter, and it's not really a strong shooter. However, it did fill this little gap and came back in. So, I may want to actually add this. I can't type today. Let's see, I added it twice. I don't know. All right, so, and then we're putting this with our shooters. And so we got a good list going so far. All right. And so now that we've done that, we've looked at specifically hammers and shooters, then we can just go to any. And I like this to see where volume is at. You can usually take the first 1 to 3 pages and just kind of look to see where the money is going. If you look at this on a regular basis, you'll start to see the regulars that are up here, but then ones that aren't normally here may rise in volume. So you'll see that, okay, C is not normally on the first page, but since banks are having earnings right now, it's rising in volume. And IWM is rising in volume, that type of thing. And you just go to the next page and you can see more. Microsoft moved down to the second page when it's normally on the first page, that type of thing. So you can kind of see what is gaining volume or even losing volume and keep track of that. So that's how you can use Finviz and add those to your scanner watch list. Of course, I have to include Frank's scanner. I did a completely separate video on Frank's scanner and how you can use that to create a watch list. And this is a way that you can do it without having to go through all of the things that I just went through with RunStrat and things like that, because this will automatically put it in here for you. But I had to show you how to do it on your own, of course, just so that you would know. So let's say you're bullish and you want to see what was bullish for the week. So you will look for the weekly news. And remember, this takes a while to load up, so that's like, that does happen. So you can scroll all the way over to the end and get basically a bullish watch list. Click over here to the bearish watch list. So if you want to look at that, every weekend to see what's going on, and then every day, you can definitely do that. This is a very, very comprehensive spreadsheet about what's kind of going on in the market, what happened in the market, who's leading, who's lagging, that type of thing. And then you have basically a completely made watch list right here for you, for TradingView and even for Thinkorswim. So what you would do is you would double click on this. You need to copy it, and then you're going to paste it into like a notepad or something like that. Then save it. Save it as like weekly news or something like that. Then you're going to go over here to TradingView. You're going to click on this down button and you're going to click on the import list, and it's going to bring up your scans. You see I have mine labeled, and you basically just double click on it, weekly bull, whatever, and it will open up into one of your watch lists. So then you can make a complete watch list without having to go through the scans yourself. Of course, there was, if Frank ever goes on vacation or things like that and it's not updated, you need to be able to know how to do it yourself. So I had to also include this because it just gives you so much more information than just trying to see with your own eyes. You can see it's an inside week, but this is a green month. Hammer week, what kind of week? A Momo hammer, a RevStrat hammer, that type of thing. So don't sleep on this, because this can cut out a lot of work for you. Finally, bar chart. So now that you've made a list and you have a nice list, you want to go to barchart.com/options. And then you want to look at the options change in open interest, okay? So what you want to understand and look for is things that have had a high open interest change. Okay, and look at those contracts. Is there anything on your list, your watch list, that's on this list here? So let's see. In Google, AI, Roblox. So let's see if any of these are on here. Maybe Google. No. So as you scroll down, oh yes, there you go. So 421.23, you have 114 calls that were bought, and the change in open interest is up. So you can continue to look for other things, like for instance, we just talked about on the video crypto stocks, that Mara is up. We talked about Riot being up. We also talked about Netflix having earnings, but then also how banks are having earnings. We just mentioned that it was rising in volume on Finviz, and then now we see the open interest change. Well, this is for 414, so that can't count. But looking at BAC, we know the BAC has earnings next week. So looking at what they're playing, looks like they're buying a lot of calls. When you look at the BAC ones, you see mostly calls here. Amazon, calls. So keep an eye on this and let this be in your regular I am checking this list. And then the creme de la creme. This website here, stockcharts.com, and I will add this to the description, of course. But there are specific scans that you can use on here that are predefined, and you can use with your indicators. So there are a few different ones I want you to note that you can look at. Now remember when we first set up our indicators, we were setting up some EMAs. Now you can use MAs instead, because this specific scanner uses MA crossovers. But what you will be looking for is you can use these bullish 50-200 day MA crossovers or the bullish MACD crossover. So the 50-200 day MA crossover, let's click on this really quickly so we can you click on it, and then of course I like to sort by volume. So let's take PEG for example here. And so PEG has a 50-200 day MA crossover. Alright, so here is PEG, and if you see here, our 50 has crossed the 200, which is a bullish sign, and so we would look for an entry here. We have a inside day, so that would be your actionable signal. Keeping in mind that these are usually daily or weekly signals, but you would just look for your entry here and look for that to possibly play out. So you can add, if you would like, add a section just for your crossovers. So if you wanted to add PEG, and then MACD crossovers. So what that is, well, let me find one specifically so that you can see it. Let us use something that we know. Oh, I guess we can use sends. I mean, I know sends, but that's only from back in my meme stock days. I don't really like that. So let's use Express. So EXPR. Let's use Express. So for instance, what you see within a MACD crossover is when it's below, it's bearish. When it crosses above, it's bullish. When it crosses below, it's bearish. It has crossed above, and so that is a bullish signal, usually. So you would look for entry. Now, granted, you can get faked out with MACD crosses, but it's just something that you would want to know. Wow, I didn't realize Express had gotten down to 83 cents. That is insane. This is definitely not a recommendation to trade. Super downtrend. This is this Bed Bath & Beyond 2.0? Is this gonna go to 50 cents? That's interesting. Okay, well, we do know that it's been beat down and the MACD has crossed above. The last time it crossed above, though, it did. It was a false signal. So, but this is crossed above and it's pointing straight up. The last time it did that was back here in January, and it did move from there. So you can see it took some time, but it did move after it pointed straight up. So keep that in mind. So that's how you use the MACD cross. Then if you use any of these indicators, you can. Oversold with the improving RSI means that's a bullish indicator. Of course, you can see these are bullish technical indicators. If you use the parabolic buy signals, when they switch from sell to buy, then you can use that. Gap ups, if you like to trade the gaps, you can use that. And then the bearish signals are literally the opposite of the bullish signals. So again, we was shorted by volume. And then your bearish MACD crossovers. So something like BA. Well, BA just gapped down. Let's not use that. Let's use INTC. So you see the MACD cross here. So we're looking at bearish MACD crosses. So your MACD is crossed here. And so you see that it's possible that we may, it's done a little round of reversal here. We may actually move down. Now granted, earnings are coming up on that, but that MACD has crossed. So it's possible that it could definitely move down. I'm going to look at BA. It did just cross, but again, it gapped down. So that's probably why it just crossed. Let's see. Let's look at VLO. It's another one. Let's see here. Your MACD has crossed, which is a bearish indicator. So this may two up, two down, and they continue down. So when you're looking at these, you want to really look on the daily for the most part. It's going to be giving daily signals. And then you can go and make your watch list, and that is basically it. Once you do that and you've labeled your watch list, you can go back through and actually look at your plays and start drawing your broadening formations and seeing if this is a good play for you, trim them down, and then execute.